So this morning we're going to talk a little bit about gripping the sword. The connection to the sword, of course, is extremely important. And the goal here is to tie the sword and your center together. Okay, you want to tie those things together. From our standpoint, we don't cut with our hands, arms, and shoulders. We cut from our center moving out. So the grip on the sword has to connect us to it. And it's the right hand that carries the energy of the center out through the blade. Okay. So we take a look at the sword, we're going to grasp it with the bones. So, if you look at the cushion of the blade as it comes up, splits between the thumb knuckle and the forefinger knuckle, comes up and bisects the radius bone just above the wrist. Just above the wrist. What we call the eye of the elbow then is turned forward. Okay. Eye of the elbow is turned forward to get this alignment. Okay. And the alignment comes through the entire body. You can see the Kisaki, you can see where that comes back down, splits the tsuba, comes back down through my body. And this becomes critical because everything that squares the shoulders up more shortens the reach of the blade and makes your target profile larger. So those of you who have military background, it'd be like coming around the corner with your whole body then planting and getting your firing position. You're leaving a very large target for your opponent. Okay? The front hand, forefinger is a good forefinger below, okay, the tsuba. Basically, you can use the fuchi as a bit of a guide. You need to leave some space here. Don't run your hand up against the tsuba. Okay. So what we have is bottom finger pulls in, okay, then the middle finger, and grasping from inside the hands. Grasping from inside the hands. So the major connection takes place on the inside of your hand. The middle finger has about 50% of the pressure that the bottom two fingers have. And the forefinger about 25% of the pressure. The fingertips do not grip hard. They are soft. Okay? We want a supple hand and a supple wrist. We want connection, and we want to tie the sword into the bones of our hand and arm, but we don't want a stiff, rigid grip. Right? And so the fingers on the tips are going to be relatively soft. As you strike the target, all the energy is carried through the bones. And with the eye of the elbow turned up in the process, it rolls the shoulder joint into its socket so that you have a better bone connection. The left hand then is turned in almost to Fibonacci's progression, the golden mean, okay, centripetal. And the sword is set down into it. Some cover the whole bottom, some half on, half off, okay? But this isn't a power hand, this is a guiding hand. Sword is not manipulated from the front hand moving like this for us. The sword is manipulated from the back hand. It's faster, it's more subtle, allows you to change from omote to ura in the middle of a cut very easily. You can continue to present with the front hand, backhand turns the cut at the last moment. Okay? The arms reach when you cut, kiryotoshi. There are different types of cuts and hits. So some things change here. but core. You're reaching out through the target. Okay? You're reaching out through the person as you cut, so that you have the maximum impact upon them, and also have a tendency to gather, gather them as you strike, depending upon where and how you're cutting them. Okay. So let's look at this again. Open, turn the hand. Place the sword. So you can see that the radius bone is on the inside here slightly as it comes down. The bisecting takes place above the wrist. Okay. You want to hold it over like this. It's all pressure through the thumb joint. Also changes the Hatsuji, etc. And now you start to swing the sword separate of your body. Fingers pulled in, making this a piece of the arm. 50% of the pressure, 25% of the pressure. When you reach, instead of turning your shoulder, you relax your back, reach to the sword.